All right, everyone. Yesterday, Laura Loomer was suspended off of Twitter, and it appears I don't know if this is 100% confirmed because I'm not sure if it's 100% confirmed that the alternate account is actually hers. But it appears that the reason she was banned off of Twitter was a recent tweet from, I think, literally the day before about Elon Omar and about genital mutilation and how, if you look, the story is there's a court in Detroit overseeing a case where basically an Islamic doctor, I believe, was mutilating the genitals of young girls. And the law being applied for prosecution's purposes was found unconstitutional. Now, in all honesty, it was specifically because the law was too broad, not because the courts there can't actually ban genital mutilation. That's not what the court actually said, and some people on the right mistook it. They took it and they misconstrued the actual ruling. Technically, they're right. Like, this person shouldn't be off the hook for mutilating the genitals of small girls. Definitely. But it's an issue of the definition of the law being too broad. So hopefully they will quickly pass another law that's less broad, more specific, and will be able to prosecute her retroactively based on that. But Loomer getting suspended for criticizing people like Elon Omar or criticizing genital mutilation, I can believe that's probably true because remember Jack Dorsey just a few days ago coming out, he's like smash Brahminical patriarchy, and then he's like, oh no, I didn't really mean it. I didn't mean to hold up a sign. I thought that picture was private. Jack Dorsey is unprincipled, and Twitter is censorious. Twitter is also becoming increasingly vestigial because of algorithmic manipulation, because for people like me, who primarily create video-based content, Twitter is primarily a notification machine. But Gab does the same thing and isn't really censored. Minds does the same thing and isn't censored. What the fuck is the point? Look, you slap it into a blog post, have a WordPress site or something like that, and it'll function just as well, in fact, better than Twitter. My growth on Twitter is a fraction of the growth on literally any of the other sites that I'm on. It's like slowed to a crawl because of algorithms, essentially. And because the site is slowly losing users. No, I don't believe Jack Dorsey at all when he says, don't worry about that 9 million less users that we had month over month. It was almost all bots. No, bullshit. I think a lot of them were banned for political reasons. Twitter loves to censor. Twitter's like China Light, essentially, when you think about it. I'm surprised China hasn't fully unblocked Twitter. Well, it's censored enough for our standards now. We don't have a problem with it anymore. It's perfectly fine. Yeah, just don't criticize communism. They'll probably ban that too eventually, knowing Jack Dorsey. So I condemn this. She shouldn't be banned for criticizing Elon Omar, and she's certainly no Nazi. Some people are like, well, she's a Nazi. No, she's Jewish. And she feels uncomfortable about Elon Omar specifically, and this was stated, because of things like female genital mutilation or Elon Omar's beliefs regarding the Jewish people over in Israel. Basically, the illegitimacy of the entire existence of the state. Now, as a critic of Israeli policies, and certainly the Netanyahu regime with this opportunistic bickering and pointless warmongering of the people like Avigdor Lieberman over there, miserable cretins like that. That being aside, Elon Omar is like a few steps further and is like, well, and condemn the whole nation along with its people, occupying our Palestinian land. It's like, not a Palestinian. I'm already uncomfortable enough with people have foreign loyalty, in some cases, to Israel itself and being in Congress. But now we have people like Elon Omar who apparently have loyalty to some crazy sect or something in a foreign state. It's really no different. There are people, I remember when the left used to criticize Romney for his Mormon beliefs. Oh, well, it's a little bit screwy. We're worried that your national loyalty might be subjugated to your religious loyalty. Now the left, of course, they don't care unless it's like, I guess, Protestant or Orthodox Christianity. Anything else is, and sometimes Judaism, oddly, anything else is okay. And Elon Omar's statements are okay, but Trump is an anti-Semite dog-whistling Nazi for some reason, despite the fact that he even gets along with Netanyahu. Netanyahu, the dude who constantly, every time he's running for office, what does he do? Oh, Iran is trying to get nukes. You should vote for me because I'll be strong on these issues. Now, of course, he's in jeopardy because he's under multiple investigations for corruption. So is his wife. And Avigdor, the head warmonger of the whole fucking country, has abandoned him. So he might get kicked out. No, Laura Loomer shouldn't be banned. Look at like archive tweets or something. Look at her views and shit. The reason that they go after her is because she does on-the-ground reporting. Which is isn't this exactly the timeline that I predicted would happen like a year ago? It's the first wave of people that are being abused, deplatformed, alt tech sites and people who do on the ground sort of things. That is people like Alex Jones and stuff. InfoWars actually has reporters, go in and do things. Laura Loomer actually goes and does things in a tangible physical sense. Lauren Southern getting kicked off Patreon. She's part of that boat flotilla stuff over in Italy there for a while that was ill-fated because the Italian government didn't like it too much, I guess. But she never got charged with a crime, still got deplatformed financially. This happens time and time and time again. Or alt tech, which helps people do actual analysis and helps sort of provide a platform that's not algorithmically manipulated, but still notifies people of video uploads, allows blogging functionality, social media, everything under the sun that you can imagine is now alt tech in some form. The reason that these sites are being deplatformed is they are the first line, the greatest defense against the old guard legacy media and lame establishment. That's really why. And soon as those people have all been knocked out of the way, if that happens, and if alt tech is not strong enough at the time to stand up against them, the next wave of people are people that just do analysis. And meanwhile, people that do comedy, they've been screwed since day one, because machines don't know the difference between a sarcastic remark and a literal remark. So if you say, oh man, I'm going to kill you, the machine thinks it's literal, because it can only think in literal terms, because it's only looking at the mechanical structure of that language being used. It can't get intonation. It doesn't understand humor and dark comedy. So Laura Loomer's been suspended there. I think she should be reinstated. But then again, I think all these people that are being banned, for the most part, should be reinstated. There are a handful of people who have been deplatformed legitimately over the last couple of years for credible threats or literal incitement. It's like Gab. People are jumping down its throat for banning, what's his name there, Patrick Little or whatever, despite the fact that if you look at some of the archive posts he's made, yeah, he's actually calling for violence. Now, he can say, of course, he's only doing that jokingly, or, no one's going to take it seriously. Okay, granted, obviously. But there does have to be, though, a time at which sites are capable of having some degree of rules. It's just if something is not a credible threat, if it's not an incitement, if it's not defamatory, if it's not otherwise like illegal porn or something, who gives a fuck? The thing is, some people actually take it beyond that, and then those people will whine about their First Amendment rights being violated, or about Gab sold out or mine sold out or whatever, and it's, always very funny. Very, very amusing. Meanwhile, those same people who pretend to be like hyper-fascist, in some cases I have a feeling that they're actually like communists or something. They're like Antifa members that pretend to be like the whitest nationalist sort of Nazi people. Those people, they cheer all the time when people are deplatformed on Twitter. It's for the greater good. Haha, vapid e-celebs. It's good when this happens. It's very funny to see. No, I think Loomer should be restored. And then Gavin also has just gotten fucked around with by the FBI. I hope he sues. That'll be a separate video, of course. That's about all. Peace out.